You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow. Today we have a live show. It's about your plans for 2022, as in, what are your business plans? I don't mean, are you going to go out and get drunk on New Year or anything like that? We're talking about business plans here. So what are you planning to do, or what should you be doing, or how should you go about it if you've never really planned in advance before? And I know there's a lot of you out there who just basically wing it and go, hey, let's just go and get it done. But sometimes planning is a good thing. So today we're joined by Tim and Cormac. So they're both going to be giving their advice as well as letting us know what they're going to be doing next year. But first of all, if you can actually see us and hear us, please comment in the chat and let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting here talking to ourselves, which is not too bad because I don't mind Cormac or Tim. If Ben was on the show, well, that'd be a different story. We could just have a laugh at him, but he's not tonight.
Ben with lovely knees. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, he's probably watching somewhere. He's probably cursing us now. Right, okay. So, Tim, do you want to introduce yourself? Let everyone know who you are, what you do, and basically if you've got any tips or stories for us today.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. You're said as the name in orange says below. It's Tim from TKM PM and IT Solutions up in, well, as of last weekend, snowy North Yorkshire. Not so much now, but it's still pretty cold. But yeah, one thing I would say, it's more a kind of a tip to keep everything in check and quality control. Just get something like staff training, or even just for yourself. We all know when things get hectic, people forget to do things, and we just want to get the job done. Is have a checklist on hand, or if you've got any questions, regular things you ask customers to do, just give them call it a customer questionnaire or something you hand them for basics such as name, address, contact number, email, all the basic stuff that a lot of people don't. When you get asking about the sale, you forget to ask and then they leave, and then you realise you haven't got certain details like a number or even an address. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'd say, and it's simple. You get the information, you can write all your scribbles, your notes about the request on the back of it, or however you set your form up. Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. Right, so Paul's saying evening, so it looks like a few people might be having issues on Facebook viewing. I've got a couple of messages saying it's a bit choppy. If you are having issues, you can see us on YouTube as well. If you're having problems watching us, you're probably not going to hear what I'm saying, but it's youtube.com/tech4techs. So it's pretty straightforward and easy to get to us. I'm just going to post that link for people in the Tech for Techs group just in case you're having issues watching video. Yeah. Here we go. Right, so Peter's just made it. So hi, Peter, how you doing? And Paul's saying YouTube's fine, so that's good. Right, okay, so let's move over to Cormac. So, Cormac, who are you, first of all? Let everyone know where you work and what you do, or what you get everyone else to do, should I say, and what your tip and story of the day is.
Who am I? I'm
Yes.
Cormac. I'm Cormac. I'm the king of Ireland in my head from Crosshaven Computers. And well, we're all just sitting doing this podcast. It's the one next week we're waiting for. Really, it's the awards one, isn't it, Phil?
A lot of people are, yeah. We're
Yeah,
wanting the
man.
award
As I
ones.
said, if I don't win something now, my mother is disowning me, my girlfriend's disowning me, everyone's disowning me. So if you're open to bribes, I'll bribe you now. Tim, I actually liked what you were saying there about getting information. We take all the information in on Synchro, but I always take notes when I'm doing this podcast, and one of them there is that one thing that I don't check, and I need to start checking, is I don't check enough where the people heard us from. Is it Facebook, Google, where or referrals? Because and we'll talk about this in the podcast in a while, because I have to change up my marketing a bit. My tip of the week, actually, and we'll keep this a COVID free zone. But I will mention one thing about COVID is now we'll say with the whatever strains about, and that's last I'll say about COVID, is that everyone thought we were kind of out of the tunnel and we were green fields ahead, and now it kind of looks like it's raining again, if you get my meaning. So a lot of companies were waiting for the go-ahead to send people back to work. And, it mightn't happen, and it maybe will happen soon. I don't know. Let's keep it positive. But I got a contact. And I went down there a few months ago when they were kind of discussing what to do. And it was weird. They're a big kind of tech company as such. And I went into their offices down there, and they must have, we'll say, 200-300 people in there. Their place was empty, absolutely empty. It was like a ghost ship. It was airy. It was the biggest office I have been in since this has happened, okay? But now that it's locked down again or whatever, Tim, they're getting rid of a lot of their stuff. So I went down, and through whatever means, it's very nice gentleman I'm dealing with, I'm after getting a lot of their stuff. I have a house there now down in the kitchen. There's around 40 monitors, 27-inch, 24-inch Lenovo 1-year-old monitors. I have no idea where I'm going to try to get rid of it all yet. I'm looking at 3 beautiful iMacs there that we just put SSDs into today. And I got a box of 50 to 100 docking stations and laptops and stuff like that. But obviously there's a deal involved there. But the point is, it mightn't be a bad time for people to get on and look around and see what stock is out there. Me personally, I don't know how I'm going to get rid of all the stock yet. That's something I'm going to have, and I need it out of the house anyway at some stage. But that's that, and it will be actually out of the house by next Monday. I'll have or tomorrow even. I'll have storage space lined up. But so that's kind of the tip of the week. Really, is that something. There's a lot of stuff that could be out there, and you could get it at a very good price, because they're not going back to the offices. A lot of them just ain't going back. So there's a lot of equipment out there, It's worth. I don't do cold calling, but it's worth, because a lot of these people are just looking to get, like, they're paying rent on premises. They need to get that stock out. They need to get the stuff out the door fast. And they don't have a market for it yet, So it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely a good idea there. To add on to that one, something what may be good for some of you who have got retail stores or thinking of getting retail stores is there's a lot of stores closing as well out there. So there's going to be lots of shop fittings, counters, and different bits and bobs like that as well. So that is something else for you to look into, is potentially look to see if, anyone's closing down. Have a look, see if they've got some shelving, counters and stuff, because if you were to buy a lot of that stuff brand new, it ain't cheap. So it might be something to look into. I know when Maplin's went bust a couple of years ago, I think it was, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, or whatever. They were getting rid of things. Okay, they started charging a lot of money for it, and then finding that no one was buying it, and then people were offering, "I'll give you 20 quid for it," and they were going, "Oh yeah, go on then," sort of thing. So maybe check if there are any stores closing down, because some of these stores are independent stores and they want as much money as they can get because they're closing down, and once they're gone, they're gone. So let's just say hi to Jesse. So hi, Jesse. Nice to see you tuning in. It seems like a few people are having issues tonight tuning into the show, so hopefully they'll watch it on the replay or on the podcast. Now, who I am? This is a big question. Who am I? Right, I'm Phil from Tech for Techs. I help run the business is the best way of putting it. I'm probably the influencer / marketing manager. The missus or the wife or Jennifer, she's the actual one who owns Tech for Techs, and she's obviously doing something else at the moment, but she's sometimes on the show as well. But I also own a retail store as well, which we obviously sell new computers, repair them, and so forth. My tip of the day is actually more of a story, actually, and it ties in with a topic. Now, planning ahead is always something good to do. And what I was doing a few days ago is went to my mother's house, mum and dad's house, basically. And they said, right, there's some boxes of stuff upstairs from when you moved out years ago. Go through them. And I found my, what we call, record of achievements from school, which is a bit dirty, needs a good cleaning. On the first page, literally page 1, okay, and this was when I was about 16. Okay, I did go on to do sixth form, and so it's a little bit off, but it says, next year, I plan to get a job in the computer industry for a few years before I start my own computer company. How planning ahead was that? I didn't even know I wrote that, to be honest with you. So that surprised me when I read that, because I didn't actually think I thought anything about doing anything like this until I was a bit older. But apparently, when I was 17-year-old, I wanted to do this, and I must have been planning ahead. That's for sure. Right.
That's a nice story. I could be searching high and low for a book of achievements. I might ask my mother for a laugh tomorrow. Mom, where's my book of achievements? And she will just laugh and laugh and laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, my book of achievements ain't that great, to be honest with you. I weren't the best at school, to be honest. I was never good at exams. I'm more practical than a test person. So if you read further in there, you'll probably find it's not that great.
Yeah,
it's
but
one of those things.
You know what? That's interesting. That's interesting what you're saying there about being more practical than a test person. I myself will be like that as well. You know, I always maintain that I don't have children, but I think when I see my friends' kids and they're saying about their grades in schools, I'm kind of saying, you know what, I prefer my kid to have street smarts as well. You know, it's important, and hence that's how we run businesses. You know,
There's definitely a difference between knowledge and intelligence. So basically, you can get taught certain things, but some things you just cannot learn. You are either born that way or whatever, and in some cases, I think you do need to teach people common sense, because I don't know if it's me or whatever. I can go on a rant about schools and stuff, but it seems to me that schools in most cases are teaching the wrong things in some cases, to be honest with you. I could go on all day about this, but anyway, we're on a different subject. We'll save that for another show. But it just goes to show that obviously planning ahead can sometimes help in a certain degree, even if you don't remember doing it. Right, so before we go any further, we've got to do this corny little thing first, which is, are you looking for a great networking solution? Well, Tender has it all. Finding your BT router no longer has the power? Then try one of these from Tender.
Hell yeah!
Is the Wi-Fi on your laptop not working and you need a discreet solution? Well, then get this from Tender.
Hell yeah!
Finding the kids can't get Wi-Fi in the bedroom and they're making your life miserable? Well, you need to get one of these from Tender.
Oh, hell yeah!
Looking for a low-cost solution to get internet into your home office? Then you need to get some of these from Tender.
Hell yeah!
For all your networking needs, trust Tender.
Hell yeah!
So there you go. So trust Tender. And thank you, Tender, for sponsoring the show tonight, and also, more importantly, sponsoring next week's awards, which obviously there's quite a few of you guys who are watching tonight who are up for awards. I've not actually looked to see who's won them yet, to be honest with you. Voting did actually finish yesterday. I've got to go into it tomorrow, have a look, and get everything ready for the show. But I do know roughly how many votes, or last time I checked, there was well over 350 individual. Well, when I say individual, 350 different people who voted. So obviously, in each of those, I had a choice of 18 things to vote for. So that's a hell of a lot of numbers in there. So actually, a lot more than I expected. So thank you, everyone who has voted. Obviously, on the show next week, we're only going to be talking about the top 5 and the winners, but it's a privilege for anyone to be nominated by anyone. So if you are not listed next week, then, well, I'm sorry. We can't, everyone can't win, and it's just one of those things, unfortunately. I'm going to say the amount of times I've not been nominated for things or not won things is more times than I've actually won things by miles. So you can't win everything, but hopefully there should be something out there for most people. Right. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic then, or the main topic, should we say. So plans for 2022, or how to plan ahead and so forth. Before we do, let's just say hi to Alison. So she says, hi, guys. And we've got also Dragos. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Sorry, guy. Sorry. He says interesting. I'm not sure exactly about what, but it's probably me. I'm just that sort of interesting person, in a good way or a bad way.
Achievements to say it, man. So there you go.
We all get those at school. I don't know if they still do, but we all used to get those at school. Everyone got a book of achievements, and the thing is, it's funny because you get to a certain point.
Did you get one, Tim?
I've still got mine. I know exactly where it is.
There you go.
English with your book of achievements.
Well, the funny thing is,
potatoes. There you go. Have some potatoes. Off you go, boys.
The funny thing is the part where there's a part where all your teachers have to say something nice about you and how good you are at the subject, even no matter how crap you were at that subject, they have to say something nice about it. So it's some interesting reading there, and I'm thinking, yeah, they were definitely struggling for words to put there. But to be honest with you, it's it was supposed to take it to when you got go for your job interviews and stuff like that, so you could show them, this is what I've done at school. I've got 100% attendance, and I've done this and whatever it may be and so forth. But I think I probably took it to one interview and then never bothered again, to be honest with you. But it's been in a box for probably 20 odd years. Right, okay, let's go on
I want Alison, if you're watching, we want you to post your book of achievements there tomorrow as well, all right? And Peter, Paul, Dragnus, anyone else, achievements day tomorrow, okay?
That's it. I have a feeling Alison's a straight A student.
Yeah, I got that feeling as well. It's going to be a library of achievements there. Yeah, Alison, we're calling you out there. A library of achievements there.
Right. Okay. So, let's go on to the main topic. So, plans for 2022. So, let's start off with Tim then. So, Tim, do you have any sort of plans or aims, goals for next year? It's only less than a month away now.
Yeah, one of the key ones I want to do is expand and go from having the shop displayed the front that I've got at the moment. But I want to have an actual separate shop, as in a separate building, but it's still in the area where I live in. Just so I can separate. If I've got the business to business wanting to see me in a meeting room, I've got the meeting room. But then if it's general customers, consumers buying cables, so I can separate the two, because at the moment it's all coming to the same place. So if I have another shop where managing that's my goal for next year, and I've already started asking about premises that are vacant in the area as well.
Okay,
including,
that sounds pretty good.
As you said about shops being emptied and stuff. There's one that appeared with a sign on it only 2 days ago, and I've already got an appointment to go in and see what I'm working with will say. what would I need to do for it. So that's really the key one for me for next year.
That sounds pretty good, actually. How long is it you've been at the current premises?
The office that I've got, I've been there about a year and a quarter, something, maybe a year and a bit, something like that. But yeah, this other one's taken the retail side. Now I've got access to all the suppliers, which I didn't have before. And then I can really stock in, and because where I live, there isn't somewhere direct to buy a cable or that kind of thing. You have to go in a car and go somewhere. So yeah, I'm kind of using a gap of opening the gap in the market is really big for it. So yeah, if I get in there first, it should help, we'll say.
Yeah, I remember. I think I remember one of the first shows you'd been in. I think you were just saying that you were moving in there, or just moved in, or was moving in, or I can't remember. That was probably one of the first shows we did. Actually, then must have been quite a while ago, because I think we started last summer. I think it was doing these shows. I think it was, if I remember right, just after the first lockdown. Right, okay, so, here we go. So Miss Allison says, no book of achievement. I think they must have brought those out after I left school. Don't forget, I'm old. Yeah, I don't believe you want it, Alison. You've got
Alison,
that hidden somewhere, or you've burnt it so no one can see it. So,
no, Phil is of that generation where everyone gets a medal, you know? That's
not necessarily, but yeah, I think it was just starting to come out, that sort of thing. To be honest, I think it was those Tony Blair years. I think it was where all the teachers started getting, instead of being called Mister, for example, Cook, it was "Hi Bob, how you doing?" sort of thing. It's like,
I was living
I went
in
into
London
that
during those years. Actually, the Tony Blair years when he had his party in Downing Street for the rock stars, if you remember. Alison remembers. Anyway,
yeah, Alison will probably remember that one.
Yes.
I don't know. Right. Okay. So Jesse's the same as well. He's saying, and Alison Cook is saying never to him, basically. So right. Okay. So let's have a look. So guys, if you don't know Jesse Jennings, I suggest you look up his computer repairman website. Jesse, put a link in for it. Why don't you while you're there? Basically, it allows you to be found in certain areas and stuff, and ways for you to get jobs. I think it's only in England at the moment, so it's not going to work for you, Cormac, unfortunately. He doesn't like the Irish, I don't think, but
There's
no,
a statement there, Jesse.
You never know. He might expand in the future. But yeah, it's definitely a good website. He's also going to be coming to the TechMax as well. So the live show we're going to be doing, live event we're doing at Bramall Lane next June as well. So I think he needs to send me a few bits of information so I can stick his name up on the website, though. Hint, hint, Jesse. Right. Let's have a look then. So, right. Okay. So I suppose I need to talk about my plans for the future, or Cormac needs to. So who wants to go first, Cormac? Do you want to go first, or should I?
You go, Phil.
You want me to go first? Instead of going last, I'm going in the middle today, am I? Right, okay. So I'm not going to talk too much about our store, because as I've told you and guys in the past, we're aiming more for the Tech for Tech side of things. So as you know, obviously, we have got things planned for next year already. So we've got the TechMax, which is the event. We've obviously got the awards this year, but obviously we'll be doing awards next year. So we've got a plan for those as well. We're also in the process of something. It actually made me laugh, actually, because Cormac linked me something the other day saying, hey, look at this. It looks very interesting. And I didn't want to say anything because I was like, yeah, actually, we're in sort of doing planning or pre-stages of doing this. And basically, we're going to be up in the membership area for the group. When I say membership, there's no costs or anything like that. There's basically Tech for Tech members. There'll be a special area which will have a map in it, which I think you were talking about, Cormac. We're actually talking to someone about getting that done. It's basically going to have a map there. So basically, if you're looking for someone in your local area for you to get stuff repaired, again, this is just for techs to find other techs. This is not for consumers. So this is going to be aimed. So if you need to outsource your work or even find distributors or whatever, you can do using the map. But it is mainly aimed for members of the group to look at, and it will have like a sign-in option. You'll also be able, when you sign up, you'll ask you for your details and so forth. And once approved, those details will automatically get stuck on the map. That idea is, obviously, in the long run, is to have the discounts area on there. So basically, the vendors and distributors can log straight in and update their discount information automatically without having to go through us, and quite a few other features there as well. So that's looking obviously towards next year. Again, this isn't consumer based, so you don't have to worry about us, Jason. We're not going to copy your computer repairman or anything like that. This is mainly for members only and stuff like that. And believe it or not, talking about 2022, we're actually planning ahead for 2023. We're already considering venues for TexMax in 2023. So that gives you a rough idea how far ahead we're looking into things. But I'll go into more details as we go forward. And obviously we'll have awards on that year as well. So that's the basics. Obviously, if you guys have got any questions about that, feel free to ask. If you've got any ideas, yeah, you put them forward. So, but that's the basics of what we're looking at. Obviously, we'll continue doing what we're doing. The reviews are going to continue. Live shows are going to continue. Cormac will still be on the show as long as he wants to be, as well. Obviously, the likes of Tim, Ben, and so forth. Well, that's if we allow Ben on there. I think he's took too many Amigas, if you ask me. But anyway, right. So enough of me.
Well, actually, not enough of you. A second.
Oh, there you go. So
yeah, that's not enough of you.
Let me just go back to JC 1 second. His name's Jason. So if I call him,
yeah, I
do this all the time. So Jason, sorry, is pronounced completely different. So not Jesse, it's JC or whatever. His name's Jason. Okay, I'll just call you Jay. It'll be simpler. Okay, right. Let's move on to Cormac now. So come on, Cormac.
I'll come back to you now in a sec. No, I'll come back to you first before I go anywhere. That map. The way you explained it there, as I said, I saw it somewhere and it was like this good idea. Obviously, you were thinking ahead of it. I think it's absolutely an outstanding idea. First of all, believe it or not, where I'm in a seaside yachting place down here, and I've many times people have come in and said they're going over to England, sailing over to England. Can we do something fast? And it'd be great to be able to say, yeah, well, you're going to Southampton. There you go. These are the people to deal with, or something over there. Now, on the other side of the things, it would be great because, a lot of us, either one-man shows or, there's a few of us there. We can't be the jack of all trades, we can't. So it would be great, even if the map developed where people might say, yeah, we'll do remote services on this, where small world now, where you can get people to say, yeah, I'm an expert in G Suite. If you want a hand with that, we can set it up your end. Oh, I'm Outlook. I'm, stuff like that. That map thing could expand. It's a great idea, So my plans for 2022 is I don't know, is the question, and is the answer to that. And I'll tell you why, because I liked what Phil was saying there as well about planning for 2023. I'm planning for 2023, even though I don't know what my plans are for 2022 yet. Now, obviously, I'll keep certain things to myself, but I have to meet my accountant tomorrow. I still need to go and see the accountant. I'm really only full-time 3 years, okay? I got into this late. Now, in the last 2-3 years, things have just skyrocketed. I was working on my own. I was doing this all on my own. Now there's kind of 4, maybe 5. Now people are part-time and stuff, but there's a lot of work. But we're still working from home offices. Now it's as much as an office as any other place. But I have to make a decision tomorrow when I see my accountant. I have to decide whether I want to go all in and grow more, or whether I want to actually maybe get smaller and maybe go back to just being a couple of people. I don't know. I'll have to see where the councils. I mentioned last week that I might look at getting a shop as well, which is something that I never wanted, but I might have someone to manage the shop now, where I can go to business customers. But tonight I put up a question in the group. I have yet to look the answers properly about was people selling much online, on the websites. And the feedback I got is that most people, we can't compete against the bigger sites online. All right. Now, even on my website, I try to drive every single, if we're selling refurb or new stock, I try to drive everyone to the telephone as fast as possible. I need to explain to them why they're paying for the price of a grade A refurb computer, why they're paying the same price as they could walk into a PC World and get one of those HP plastic pieces of crap. You can beep out anything I say there about those. We've stopped repairing them. We're not doing hinge repairs anymore. They're made too cheap. They're not made too cheap. They're made to bang out the door. We can't repair the hinges because you're only going to be disappointed in a week. I had people ringing up there. They bought machines for 330 quid. They're wondering why they can't download games because it's a bloody Steam book. One of those 30 gig things, they're not computers. They shouldn't be sold. 64 gig computers shouldn't be sold either. So anyway, that rant over about that. But I also have to see where it's going business wise, because I had my reasons, and this is my first year being back registered as well. Now, I would recommend to anyone to get back registered as soon as possible. Just get it done, feel the pain, learn your way around it. It will affect you more with home customers than business customers. Business customers don't care; they get the VAT back. Now, one of my decisions I have to make tomorrow is I'm a sole trader, whether to go over to a limited company. Okay, and then I will be an employee of myself. I don't know if I can work for myself, but these are all big decisions. And one of the reasons I put in an awful lot of hours, even though I'm after kind of calming down a bit now, I need to know, because it's getting expensive out there to do business as well. I need to know is what I'm putting in, is it worth it? And also, when you've got people working for you, there's other pressures you have to pay. Obviously, their wages, their holidays, and I'm not sounding like a Scrooge here. I'm just saying these are business costs. Like I was laughing there as the Irish government is giving a bank holiday next year to thank the people of Ireland for their great work. And I'm thinking that's very nice of you with other people's money, because we have to pay our staff for the bank holiday. Stuff like that, These are all real things. So I need, one of the problems I had in my business is that I need to keep a closer eye on my books, because I'm just so busy that I'm not even sitting down properly to analyze where it's going, And this now, so when I'm meeting my accountant tomorrow, I need to look at it, not 2022, I need to look at 2023, as in say, yes, I'm still building. I want to go change my advertising more up to LinkedIn to get more business customers. So I need to make this decision, but I need to make it as in, okay, this is the books for now. Will we still be growing, or will I take it? And I'm also at this age where what profits do I need to live on? Am I better putting a lot more into pension? There I said the word. In a sense, there's an awful lot of the business side of this work, that this running a business, that I still need. I feel that I'm not as savvy as I should be, and I need to be more savvy, even though I think I'm doing okay on it. So there's big plans. So do I need a hassle of a shop? Will there be enough money to be made off a shop? You were saying there, Tim, about selling cables, selling this, selling that. I'm gonna be pestering the group with questions about that, about how much. Obviously, people won't discuss finances. What you can shift that way. We're not going to sell the things online, but if a customers are passing, I know I can sell. I'm good at selling, but I also don't want to be in a shop all the time, So there's all those sort of questions that I have to ask. I have to ask myself. So my plans, are very, I know, fluid at the moment is the word. that I'm trying to come across. So, gentlemen, I have two scholars of the business on the show with me tonight. So, Tim, Phil, I would love to hear your opinions.
Right. My first opinion is you can call HP laptop whatever you want, and I'm not going to beep it out. So, don't get me wrong, their business grade stuff's not too bad, but the residential consumer stuff is garbage, I must admit, especially the stream type systems. Ugh. Yeah, I have nightmares about them. Right, okay, so... Right, so yeah, there's quite a few things to go over with you there, Cormac. I think the first thing what I'd say is do you want to be running your business or do you want to be more hands-on? Do you want to be the what? Because obviously, if you're going to start having a store and everything else, and someone's running it, you're going to have to be managing him. So you're going to be more of a directorial role, telling people what to do, like the CEO sort of the company, even it might be small or whatever. Or do you want to be hands-on? Because if you're going to be hands-on, you're probably going to struggle running the business.
Interesting question, because at this end of the day you're kind of sick of doing installs, but sometimes I'd be sitting down because I have a guy working here as well, a couple of guys time, and it's lovely to get back down to the computers as well. Now I'm still doing loads of computers. It's not that case where I'm handing everything over to I don't know. It's something. Do you know what? It's something to do with an age thing as well. To be honest, I'd say if I was in my late 20s, 30s, the way you'd be chasing, I don't know, flash cars and all this sort of thing. It's more you'd be chasing peace of mind now at this sort of stage, that you want to go on nice holidays with your girlfriend or whoever, you want you don't. So I don't know. I don't know. It's the shop one is going to be a difficult one for me. The shop one is going to be a difficult one. Do I want a shop? Then I have to think that there will be a shop in my area. There isn't at the moment. There's 3 phone repair shops, but there's not a computer shop. But my reputation should be good enough for us to hold our own on that one anyway,
Yeah. I'm going to say if you've got a good business already, what's able to support a shop, if it does, let's just say worst case scenario, fail or doesn't take off or whatever, at least you've still got the rest of the business, which is quite successful. So you could potentially open it for a couple of years, see how it goes. Other thing is you've got to, obviously, you're having a shop, you're going to have more staff. Or you've got to be prepared if this person you say is going to run it for you, he's going to want holidays. He's going to want sick days and stuff. You've got to be prepared for all that. So obviously that means you've got to then jump in there, or you've got to close the store and upset people, or you've got to then employ someone else on top of that.
But see, the option available is like, if you get business jobs pay, this MSP model, which I don't think ever took off over in Ireland unless you're big. But business, you can get 3 or 4 very good business jobs a month and keep the other retail as well. Like there's like at some stage you get sick of dealing with Mrs. Murphy coming in at the counter for some stupid mouse not working on her trackpad not working, by the way, which pays the bills. So I don't know. Tim, your view?
I think what I'd say, but also just adding to what Phil said, is if you're going to do a shop, I mean, when I'm going to do it, one thing I'm going to do is put it this way, is be pretty brutally honest. If you're going to take someone on to run a shop, you've got to make sure you can trust them. If you want to have time off, for example, you don't want to have to be. You just want to be able to trust them and leave them to it, as it were. So you can focus on what you do. Let them do the shop side. You do the business side in the background, we'll say. Because my plan is to take someone on to doing the shop side, looking after it, and then I do the business to business and the bits in the background, we'll say, do that bit. So really, I say the toughest bit is it's a good idea if you can do that, but you've got to know people enough, and don't be afraid to be scrutinise people in interviews, as in, can you trust them for you go away on holiday, for example? You can relax. I think it's a simple way to put it.
Yeah, great points.
Is there anyone who's watching the show who's in a similar predicament as Cormac is, or has got any advice for him? As in, should he have a store? Or is there certain things he needs to think about, or anything like that? What he may have not thought about? Any advice at all? So, and again, if you've got any other questions or any other advice about planning forward, obviously feel free to ask them. So I think, yeah, so really cool, Mac. I think, well, overall, it's going to be down to you what you will decide to do. But I can see if you're having a store and you're going to have staff under you, I think you're going to have to look at being less hands-on within the company, as in repairing stuff and stuff like that, and be more of a manager and a leader. But again, that's up to you if you want to go down that route or not. I can't answer that. So, but you do find, obviously, it adds new sets of complications in there. Obviously, I don't know how the Irish taxes work and so forth for buildings and stuff. Don't forget, you might have like council taxes and stuff like that on top of just the prices, which can add up over here. If your shop's under a certain size, you're fine. You don't have to pay it. But I don't know how that is in Ireland. Obviously, make sure you go in and find out all the information. So if you're looking at a building, ask who owns it. What sort of price was the previous people who were in there paying for the electricity? How much were they paying for the gas, water, whatever it may be? Any extras and so forth, and make sure, obviously, people can actually get to you, because the people who are wanting to come in the store are probably going to want to carry heavy things. So make sure there's parking available with ease. Preferably free parking, even better, because an old lady is not going to be able to carry her big massive computer into your store. Okay, there's a lot less of that happening now. A lot of them have got iPads and laptops rather than a big PC, but you still get it, and they're not able to all carry the stuff in and out of the car. So obviously, if you've got a car park and it's a 5-minute walk away, can you afford to close your store for 5 minutes while you walk the old lady with her computer, or old man, doesn't have to be an old lady, or someone who's got a disability? Do you have time to actually do that? So stock wise, start small. I'd recommend just start as a repair store, and as people start coming in asking for things, then start stocking it. It's as simple as that. You'll always get people wanting cables. It's pretty much standard HDMI, power cables, stuff like that, USB chargers and stuff like that. And there's usually a good markup on those to be made, to be honest with you. Good percentages. You can easily make 1,000% selling a cable in some cases. Obviously, a lot of the USB cables you buy in, they're probably worth 50p, and you might sell it for a fiver or a tenner or whatever, depending on the length and so on. So there's lots of ups and downs, but just remember to charge for what you're worth. I think you said the other week you want to be more higher priced and better quality rather than cheap stuff. So if you're going to do that, make sure you do price yourself well, and don't start off at the bottom. Start higher than lower.
No. That's vitally important for anyone watching. That we talked about that last year already, about the pricing, in the sense that you have to put your prices have to be high nowadays, as in compared to. I'm not chasing the rock bottom ones there. What's Peter saying there?
So yeah, Peter's saying consumables ensure customers come back to your store on a regular basis. Paper, ink, cables, keyboards, mice, for us security as well. So yeah, stuff like that. People generally come back over and over and over.
I have a question about this now. And it's kind of in basis nearly like the HP laptops. Printers, for ye who are selling printers, I do not want to go near printers. I do not want anything to do with printers. Convince me otherwise, in the sense that a printer is sold as a vehicle to sell ink for them. So printers are too cheap in the first place. Like, printers for 40 to 50 euro are too cheap. They are too cheap, and they are priced too cheap. So I could not for the life of me want to sell those sort of printers, and that's why how do you deal with that? In the sense, printers are going to break, software issues. Like, my printer there just won't work with Windows 11 on one of my machines. Just won't work. That's not. And you know what? If you sold that to a customer, they upgrade to Windows 11 after a month, they ring you up saying the printer's not working. I don't know. Is there money to be made off printers for the hassle that's involved?
I think in terms of, this is what I've found. You get some people, if you get people that run a printing business where the ones that make like the mugs, the t-shirts, the mouse mats, that kind of thing, then yeah, there's money. I've got a few regular customers that it started out as they asked me to just do one Equus build all over the printer, basically. But they come back to me now to get the ink for their machine because I know what they've got already. They haven't got to tell me what it is, for example. So there's money to be made on, I would say, consumable side, but the hardware side, I think it's very difficult to get it at a competitive price in terms of printers themselves.
Yeah.
To be fair, I found the cartridges are easy enough to get, so you can sell at a competitive price. But the hardware, it is very difficult to make a profit on them without going cheap or it doesn't look right or back of a lorry situation. So
yeah,
cables,
basically,
cartridges, fine. Hardware, it's difficult.
Yeah, I basically agree there. I was just going to say about what Richard Overfield says. Only reason to sell printers is to stop consumers or customers going elsewhere. They will keep coming back for ink, and that's where the money is. We probably, as I think Tim's probably the same as us, we probably make a tenner, maybe 20 quid at the most on a printer. There's very little profit on them, to be honest with you. Again, getting them from distribution, sometimes the prices isn't far off. If not, they're more expensive than the likes of getting them on Amazon. And I've even been in Tesco's before and gone in there and gone, oh my God, they're selling them cheaper than we are, sort of thing, and by a huge amount. So it's quite a difficult thing, but we always stick to the one brand, Epson. Not necessarily because I find they're the best printers in the world. In all honesty, I probably find the best printers may potentially, everyone's going to have their own voice, probably Brother or something like that. But you tend to find they don't tend to, or from what I've seen from our suppliers, be able to get a good supply of decent priced Brother equipment. So we tend to stick with Epson, but also because we can get the compatibles inks for them and resell the compatibles. And again, just like on the cables, there can be a good markup on that. And it's something the customer has to keep coming back to you for. And let's say a printer for what's probably 2-3 years old now, the inks for that printer will probably cost you £3 a set. You can sell that set for 15-20 quid. So there's a good markup on there. And if you get decent ones, there are compatibles and compatibles. You can find cheaper ones out there, but you'll find that they can be quite problematic sometimes. So it's best to get for example, a brand that you'll know what's good. We tend to stick with the ones what Target Component sells. It's very rare we get a return on them. Very, very rare. And if we do, generally 9 out of 10 times, it's a consumer's problem. They forgot to take the little label off what says pull here or something daft like that. But because of the price of them, they don't cost a lot. So Peter's basically agreeing with Richard there, and Peter says we sell printers above their RRP. Cheapest we do is $89, including VAT. Lots of customers go to us to install them at home, and that's a call out of 1 hour. Yeah, that's how we normally try and sell stuff. Obviously, you'll always get the customer who doesn't, just wants to come in and buy it, but we always try and sell it as part of the service. So the customer comes in, and then you bundle in an hour's labour going around to set it up for them and so forth. And then you've potentially got a customer for life there, where if they've got any other issues, they'll give you a call or either pop in the store. So the Rich is saying if you don't want to stock too much ink, just stock the multi-packs. That's where obviously you've got the colours and the black all in one pack. We do that and just the blacks. We don't do individual colours, so the cyan, magenta and stuff, because we tend to find we end up getting left with one or the other. So we just do blacks and the full sets. So, but yeah. So I think the biggest issue you've got, Cormac, if you're going to sell the stuff or not going to sell the stuff, you need a store first. And I think that looks like where you're a bit confused about. So I wouldn't rush into it.
Look, we're doing well selling computers. without the store. So maybe I don't know. We'll have a look at it. You know, I haven't been. I liked what Peter's saying about the call out. At this present moment in time, we won't even do call outs to look at printers. If people ring up and say our printer's broken, will you come and look at it like home customers? No, I won't. To say our call out is more than a printer. I don't. You go for a printer, you ring them up and you say, how old is your printer? Oh, it's around 3 or 4 years old. That's a lie. It's 7 or 8 years old. And we could we'll charge for an hour. You could be there for an hour and you might not get that printer. Printers are the Antichrist. Simple as that. You know.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I saw something in a group there before. They're saying there's not a printer out there that won't take a tech of 20 or 30 years experience down. Printers are just there to make our life sell. But then again, if played right, we can make money off it, you know?
Yeah. Peter's also got a good comment there. If you're going to commit to opening a shop, people will expect you to be there when you say you're open.
Yeah.
So you, for example, the way you are at the moment, you could potentially go on for a day trip out somewhere or whatever and just answer your phone to customers, and you don't have to be there then and there. But if you've got a shop, it's got to be open one way or another. Generally, it's very hard to close for a prolonged period of time. They can be a pain, even if you go close the door for 5 minutes just to go up the road to the co-op or to the post office or something like that. You're bound to get that one customer who complains because the shop was closed, even though you got a big sign on there what says back in 5 minutes, and then they write a review saying you were closed down or something stupid like that.
You're still bitter over that one, Phil.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Remember the negative reviews. It helps for the future. So even simple things. What we've learned is when you close the door and you say you're closed, don't say you're closing for Christmas. Say you reopen on a certain date, because people read the first few words and think you've closed down.
Jesus.
Yeah. So make sure you get it the right way around. Same as the answer machine. If you call our answer machine, it says we will reopen on the 2nd of January or whatever date it is when we come back after Christmas or whatever. It will not say we are closed, because that's all they hear, and people just don't listen to the rest. So, right, okay. So we've got about 10 minutes left. Let's go back to the rest of the topic. I think we probably need to have a whole show with you, Cormac, about opening the store. I think so. Maybe a show about. Are you thinking of opening a shop or something along that lines? But obviously, if you've got any questions or whatever, send me a message, give me a call. You've got my details, and obviously you've got the information in the group and so forth as well. I'm going to say you'll get a lot more useful information from them than just me. So, right, let's go on. So, let's just go through the basics of planning ahead, how you should plan ahead, or at least how I go about it. So, first of all, if you're going to plan ahead, you need to know that you've done everything you planned to do last year. So, even if you've not planned anything before, it's a good time to start. So, first of all, you need to be a goal setter. So set goals and what you plan to do next year, even multiple years ahead, as we've already spoke about. If you do all your current goals that year, either go ahead and start on a new goal, or the goals what you've basically got for the year after. So get ahead of yourself. What are goals? There can be different things, to be honest with you. It can be anywhere from your goals to sell a certain amount of stock, or to move your business from one style to another, to earn a certain amount. It might be numerous things, improve your marketing and so forth. You've got to think where you're weak at and what you need to improve, and set goals of how to improve them. And to do that, you need to know what your budget is. So budget for each of these things, because stuff is very rarely free. So if you're going to do, let's say, marketing or advertising, you need artwork, you need to figure out how much you're going to spend on each thing. So, for example, are you going to spend so much on marketing for Christmas? Are you going to spend some for Easter? For students going back to school, the Queen's Jubilee of all things is next year, and we'll get an extra day or two off and so forth. Bet you're not getting that in Ireland, are you, Cormac, next year?
No, there was a little bit of a disagreement there 100 years ago. But yeah,
No,
that's
that's
a whole
a
different
shame,
podcast.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Right, okay, so let's have a look. So obviously when you're making targets, you need to basically set targets and do it step by step. So if you've not done this before, it can be daunting. But once you've basically set out a template, you can reuse this template for future stuff. So it may include outsourcing work, hiring staff, finding a new distributor, making new products and stuff. But basically, do it in steps. So if you're gonna, um, let's say hold an event next year like we are, you need to write down everything you need to do to make that event happen and then work through that list. So you need to plan absolutely every little bit, and obviously you need to budget for it as well, as we said. So you need to figure out, where's your event going to be. You're going to say, you've got to figure out, when is it going to be. You've got to figure out, is there anything going off at the same time which could affect your event. Is going to be certain types of people who are going from different nationalities or religions, who have got different needs for food and may need a prayer room or something along that lines, and so forth. And it goes on and on and on and on. And even what choice of music you may play, because you don't want to upset someone because they don't like, I don't know, R&B for whatever reason, or they prefer classical, who knows. But there's lots of things to do, and you add to this list as you get closer to the event, but you make sure you cross these things off. And you can plan ahead. And as I said, this could be just marketing for Christmas or whatever. You've got to figure out what you've got to do. And there's no better time around Christmas, New Year time, when you've got nothing to do. Okay, there's always parties and stuff going up, but there's going to be some time in between Christmas, New Year. You're going to be sat there. You're going to want to do work, but you're not open or whatever. Get planning ahead. Plan for Easter. Write down what you're going to do. Are you going to do any special offers? And then you've got your summer holidays and everything, as we said. Use a calendar, a notepad, or something along that lines. Have a book, what you write all your ideas in. I've got one here. This has got all my little secrets about little ideas and stuff. Someone's probably going to zoom into this later and have a look at all the little plans and stuff. But plan down, write everything down. I've never been one for keeping a book in the past, but I do. I write all my ideas, everything, show ideas for like this, for example, event ideas, my award ideas. Everything's in this little book. Don't get me wrong, I'd probably remember it if I lost it, but it's all there because you do forget certain things. And just to let you know, take one of these to bed with you. How many business people struggle to sleep at night because they've got things rolling around in your head and you're constantly thinking about it? If you wake up in the night thinking about it, write it down, and you'll be surprised you stop thinking about it once it's in your book. So a little good practice there, to be honest with you. I think it's probably been said by a few people before that, but to write stuff down in a little book like that, if I get up in the night, I'll wake up, I'll come in my office, it's right next to the bedroom, so it's pretty straightforward, and I'll write down in my book and so forth, and then it's out of your head, and then, well, hey, unfortunately, as we probably found out from the mental health show a few weeks ago, people in our situations who run businesses do get stressed very easily. So it's a good thing to do. So, right, let's have a look. Okay, so we've not had any more comments in the chat up to now. So let's just go around with Tim and Cormac again. So if there's anything else you want to speak about before we call it a night, because it's nearly 9 o'clock already. God, that went fast. It's nearly 9 o'clock already. So, Tim, have you got anything you'd like to add in there? Anything about planning forward? What would you like to do, or how?
Yeah, I'd say this comes from me. I've spent 15, 20 years working in construction projects. So these are always project-based things, and different things we use, different times and different places. Well, it never hurts to sit down and just write notes on or do what's worked, what hasn't worked, or how have you had to improve something. And you say what you said about having a notebook, for example. Just write down if something's not working, you've had to change something for whatever reason.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. That does, to be honest with you. Notebooks are a godsend in some ways, to be honest. I never thought until I had one I'd want one and need one. But as soon as I've got one, it's like, Everything goes in there. It might sound daft. You may look back at it a years' time and go, "Oh, why did I never try that?" or whatever. But you've got ideas there what come into your head, because the amount of times I've had ideas and think, "Oh, I better do that," or it'd be a good idea to do that. Once you write it down, it's there. Right, let's move over to Cormac before he falls asleep. So, Cormac, have you got?
I won't be falling asleep because I still have work to do. I'll finish up on this one actually. Tip your delivery man. Tip your delivery man. The people who are women or whoever it is, who your UPS, your DPP, DPD, and all those drivers. Well, it's Christmas time. You need these people to function. I'm going down. I have the delivery to take in at this moment in time. The guy, Paul, went out of his way to drop it. I'd never get deliveries this late. It'll actually help me to get this delivery because I won't be around tomorrow for it. And you know what? While he was there, he was doing with his brother. I left a couple of wireless chargers at the door. I left the door open. They dropped it in. This is only niceness, but the lads, if I'm out and about, those boys will say, they will ring me. They say, "Where are you?" Or we can drop. I'll meet you on the road. This or that. And you know what? They're sound guys. They're saying we're all rushing around this and that, and it's nice to say thanks. You get your deliveries looked after then. Now, does anyone want to help me unpack my delivery? Come on.
If you're playing for the ticket, I think we've got a quarantine for about a week before we come over. That's the only problem.
I don't know, better not, because I'm coming over to visit the Queen on the 26th. I'm flying into Heathrow. I'm going around London. I don't care what's going on. I'm coming over.
Yeah, even though she's not there, but yeah, that's good.
Doesn't matter. I'll visit second anyone. I just need to get on holidays. All right, thanks very much.
That's no problem, Cormac. Right, guys, we're going to finish the show off there. So next week we've got a show, as we said, 8 p.m. next week. It's a big one. It may be our biggest show we've ever done. This one is the Tech for Tech Awards 2021. So there are lots of people up for awards, and I have a feeling someone in this chat here might be up for one or two or different things and so forth. So, or at least they've been nominated, let's put it that way. So we'll find out if they actually got through to the final or not. So, but there's awards going for distributors, vendors, and even techs, best websites, everything you name it is out there, and there may be one or two special awards as well. So please make sure you tune in next week. That's 8 p.m. and this is all because of Tender for sponsoring the event. Without them, we would not have the event. So if you've never tried Tender products before, I recommend you give them a try. And thank you again, Tender, for watching. So otherwise, guys, if you are not a Tech for Tech member, just do us a favor. Go to the Tech for Tech website, and which is on the screen at the moment, which is techfortechs.co.uk/join. You can join over 1,300 other techs like you, vendors, distributors. We've got them all. VIPs in there, targets in there, CIDs in there, CMS, Spire, and there's probably many others I forgot. And then you've got all your brands like Cooler Master, Deep Cool, NZXT, and so forth. And all these guys you see in the chat on there as well. So make sure you join up. When you do click that join button, though, make sure you fill in the questions, because if you don't get in. So, right, that's enough of me mumbling and so forth. So we'll see you guys next week, 8 o'clock. Make sure you got your bow ties on and everything ready for the event, okay? So awards and everything, okay? So it'll be me and Jen presenting the show, and we'll see who's won, or at least the top 5 and the winners are. Right, guys, thank you again for watching. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, I'm going to call him Jesse then, Jason. And definitely thank you again, Tim and Cormac, for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you both on the show. So good night, everyone, and we'll see you next week, 8 p.m.